what will be the pressure on the walls that resist the sliding. So basically for sliding in north towards northwest, we use the first, the second, and for each wall we have different equations. So basically for each wall we calculate what is the maximum, what we call wall passive resistance, required passive resistance pressure, or force, I guess. So having this done, I can show you some calculations, sample of calculations for the 4 walls. Okay.
How do you distribute that? Do you just spread it uniformly along the height of the wall that's assumed to resist it?
Actually, we use linear distribution from zero at the top and coming down to linear distribution. And I have some slides showing that. So if you go to the next slide, this is just the calculation of the forces. So I made the slide such that to show you what I found, what we for different calculations. How we come to the total leftover force is basically considering the one which I highlighted by the red one to the what is the required lateral resistance on each of these north, south, eastern, west. And those are the magnitudes we are calculating.
The last numbers are the one.
Exactly, those are the numbers that is how much force we need for building auto slide. Now, the next slide is related to your question. Now we have to calculate what is the total pressure on that wall. We calculate what is the force we need. We have still some pressures calculated from SASE, right? Because now we are not in the situation to look ultimate state, right? So we distribute that, we assume the pressure to be linear, going downward, and we add it to the SASE results to calculate the pressure actually acting on the wall. And we add also the static on it. And in this slide, we compare those pressures, which is the last one is, I don't know what color is that, is the green one, with the black curve, which is the load applied to the passive resistance, low capacity load considered in the DCD. To show you that they are lower. I mean, the pressures acting on the wall, they are lower. And I picked up those two cases. And also, I want to point out those are preliminary results. They're still checked and they're still...
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Okay. Also, the scale at the bottom, because you have positive and negative numbers.
And then positive and negative depending how the reactions are calculated. But basically, the whole here, this is the pressure. Now, in the second way, you have a negative, which is subtraction from the starting pressure, right? Because it's a linear analysis. Some of the things are compression, some are tension. So what you see as the red line here is at this critical instances of time, this is the magnitude, I mean, what the traffic gives us the pressure of the wall.
Okay, I see that. the springs sometimes are, in tension, sometimes they're in compression, and in the other plots where you just showed one plot of maxima, they're always in compression.
Yes,
So this is not the same. You can't compare this to those other.
no, you cannot. Why? Because in that one you take maximum in each instance.
It's just in each instance. Okay. So the red is from SASE. Then you add to the red.
Linearly distributed leftover force. So basically, you see how it goes up higher, right? At the top, because most of it comes from the base. So basically, the build is appropriate to use linear distribution of temperature.
And static is just the hydrostatic plus the at-rest and all that.
Correct. It's not much. Now, with the fact of pulling there is more often, then the distribution will be different because we really cannot think that this leftover force of whatever it is will be taken by the paper, so most of it will go to the field, to the rock, right?
And in this analysis, you don't use the 90%, 0.9 load factor for the dead load, right?
Yes, and basically that was done, it's additional conservatism there. Because you have coupled with safety factor, there's 0.9.
SRP is set to use a load factor of 1.
Right, exactly. Because you have coupled with safety factor.
Well, we have to usually understand this is a new one.
Right, I mean, most probably we never did something like that. And it took some time to
And also, since this is a new one, you need to have the using program.
I mean, this is in Excel. What we did, we closely look at the phasing of the forces we get on SASE because that is very important right now. Which wall resists the sliding at certain situations. But we're looking at the distinct shapes of them.
Whenever you were doing each direction evaluation,
Is it possible? Couple of analyses can be provided in YAR, cyber flavor, there's all the details and how to understand it. We plan to issue a report for this. Our plan was in the RAI to give summary of the results, but I don't know.
even the preliminary, I'm thinking if you can provide the staff, in the electronic reading room, so the staff can look through them now. It's like a pseudo audit.
I almost think I heard what I've heard him say. There needs to be enough in there that they can try and repeat the result. I mean, they can do which I don't know if it's a confirmatory calc exactly, but some way they can at least.
So what we can provide, I guess, I'm sure we can provide the time history from the SASE runs for each time step for all these 9 reaction forces. We provide much better description of the methodology with more detail, and then
I mean, you don't have to provide that statistic report as part of the REI results.
right.
Taking the electronic reading room, you can come to agreement that is similar to an audit, except we don't have to go to the side.
Right. But you were considering documenting this topical or technical report anyway? Is that what I heard? I think there's 2 steps. Again, we're going to get to this later. I mean, again, got to do the enveloping analysis, right? So we got to finish. So the final verified response is going to be a little while. What I think I was hearing Dennis and Jim say is they would like to have something enough to at least review
To understand, all right?
to understand the whole process to make sure that it's reasonable.
Yeah. Instead of waiting until the end and then you got a big report and we find out that maybe you go to the right direction. So that will be, I think, to help us and also help you, right? If you can provide that intermediate analysis.
Yeah, I mean, we can put some words in there that says this isn't verified information yet or something like that. I mean, because you're not using it for that.
No, we're not going to use it. We'll just use it to assist our understanding. No. And you don't have to provide that to the audience. I'll just put it in electronic reading.
It's a way of doing an audit without the formalities.
Without
Find out exactly what formalities needed. If nothing else, it doesn't necessitate the trick.
Right now, he's talking about claims. I'm talking about auditing.
Right.
No, not even. Just to understand what we are doing, to educate his staff, so that's right. Yeah. Because otherwise you wait till the end and you see a big report and take the 3 months to just understand what contains in it. It's along the way, we try to understand what you're doing. And in time, you start to complete the entire map. If that's value there,
We have these. I was just getting into the admin part, look into informal something in there. There's been electronic reading audits.
This is not informal.
We would have a little bit
Let me summarize.
I'm trying.
This is the origin purpose. Because we have this it will not be like going to the people again, the people who are look at it, that kind of thing. Because power will let you know. That's right. Okay, then we people that even form of the have to complain or not. No, then it's different to drafts go on. But this is just like this meeting and you have just we cannot digest in 10 minutes. Right? Yeah, that's going to take a few days. Like I understand.
Have any idea when?
We have
We have enough. Yeah, I mean, again,
I think the safety factor, and this is safety factor basically it's nothing. Details and they have sheer friction only. But now, to be working on issue, so this is really good. I give them typically we would have something on and it's got the it's packages. How many times are we talking about? Are we talking about really like the tiny fraction of incident comes with or are you like this?
That's right.
Most of the time.
Opposed to very long.
That's a big difference.
The way the guy said it should be.
And that would be very
Because you got this result last week and that was looking at it. We have a couple of comments about addressing them.
I think that will help. I don't think, you just go to that complexity. It's not going to be straightforward. You have to give the guy some time to digest it.
Okay, could you go back to slide 66? You're relying on friction at the base.
Everything is on the base.
Yeah, so the only resistance is friction at the base.
Correct.
So if I have a plot where in a horizontal time scale and the vertical is factor of safety,
Yes.
but only considering the friction of space, then, you know, I would have something like this, right?
Correct.
And I would draw a horizontal line at 1.1, right, to see how many, like, what the instance of time where you drop in below 1.1.
Yeah.
The, you know, little ones, you know, very scattered with tiny instances, or are we talking about a big chunk of time where you're dropping below?
Yes, there are instances of time.
That would be a very helpful plot to see if you're talking about like 20 seconds in which you're below 1.1, or are you talking about, you know, little fractions of 0.1 seconds here and there?
Correct, right? And we will provide that. I understand what you want.
That would help a lot.
Both directions we will.
Right.
Anyway, I understand, we get something written up or whatever, you know, so that we can understand the process a little bit better.
Let's do something informal.
Right, informal, you know. It just helps us understand. Then we will do all, you know, and always, you know, take a detail.
Now, the last one I have presentation is the modified subtraction method benchmark. Where we use first why we use modified subtraction method. As you know, when you do what used to be sensitivity studies, now some of them are not anymore. Or even though it's more structure interaction, structure to structure interaction, we end up with a very large model. In particular, because now we have a software, the model has to be refined enough to pass frequencies. So we cannot run such a big model with we used the started 2010. And we have to come to the approximation, modern approximation of modified subtraction. So all this analysis we are going to perform by using this methodology, where all the nodes at the side and the bottom of the escalator volume will be specified as interaction nodes. Also, we specify this is a construction method, and we also specify interaction nodes that nodes at the top of the escalator volume, which is now known as modified subtraction method. And we go further and specify additional planes of interaction planes within the interior of the escalator volume. Now, the SFP 3.72, we are going to demonstrate that what you get as a result from this analysis using this model approximation, they're accurate. To do that, first we will run, we already run analysis on the firewater service complex model, where we compare the results from NRC method with the direct method, and they show almost no differences between them. The second, and we use 7 interaction planes, that means all around the escalator volume and one internal plane for that purpose. Also, we are going to refer to the results of the benchmarking, which was quite extensive, for the ARCOA for all 3 buildings. And we will show that those results, based on the models and test configuration of the models and the site properties, are applicable for North Anna. Sorry. And we will use models in all our analysis that have 2 additional planes of interaction nodes within the building. It's more, we will use more interaction nodes than we are actually what we did benchmarking to the firewater service company. The next slide. So these are the steps started to do the benchmarking. First, we went through some calculations to determine the location of the internal planes of interaction nodes, which are based on calculation of shear width We show next slide. Then after we determine those locations, we perform eigenvalue analysis of the escalating volumes. Where the locations where we have interaction modes, we impose pin boundary conditions. Now, based on this result of eigenvalue analysis that gives us the many properties of the escalating volumes, we determine which one of the three models is the most sensitive to NSN approximation, or actually which one is the most flexible, just the lowest frequencies of analysis. And now, based on this selection, we perform benchmark analysis for fire-water service complex model, which is the most sensitive to errors due to NSN approximation. So now, this is the sample how we determine those planes, the optimal location of the planes. Basically, we want to, when we establish plane of interaction modes, we want basically that plane to roughly separate the model into two or three parts which have a similar stiffness properties. And basically, we want the values on the last column to be as close to each other as possible. Okay, we can go on. Now, what we did for the eigenvalue analysis, we did the analysis, we start with one plane internal, and we calculate what is the maximum, or actually the minimum frequency, natural frequency of the escalated volume. And then we do this for until we reach 50 Hz, which is the cutoff frequency. We recognize there is no direct relationship between natural frequency of the volume and the accuracy of the NSN method, but it's a good indicator. If we have frequencies higher than 50 Hz, then it's the stiffer or higher at the frequency, natural frequency of vibration of the model, then it means that we have less possibility of having errors with the NSN.
These are based on what profile?
I think upper bound.
This is the fundamental frequencies for brick blocks or whatever.
Right, you take the volume, you take the pin conditions when you have, and you do more analysis, and you see what will be the minimum frequency.
And this is considering one plane.
Then you have
one, two,
and three. With the reactor building, because it's quite steep, it's in rock, only one plane, and we come to 60 Hz and we stop. Then for, as you see, for fire-water service complex, because it's much softer soil, we have to go with 9 planes to come to 60 Hz. But what we do MS validation in SASE, we use 7 planes. So if the natural frequency of the escalated volume is 33 Hz approximately, we will show that basically we get same results from NSN and direct method.
So you push the frequency to the far right out of the
So right, frequency choice.
yeah.
If you can go to the next. Now, this is the model we use for the NSN benchmarking. I want to point out that for the analysis we did, in the licensing basis analysis, we used the direct method. So we take both as a basis of comparison, and then we did additional analysis where we have one additional plane that is shown with red there, and we compare the results. We did comparison, the next slide, for transfer functions. You see the transfer functions at, this is at the basement level. So basically, you can hardly see any difference. You can go to the next slide. This is comparison maximum acceleration results where I mean, this difference is at 1%. Now, if you go to the displacements, also we have the same. These are displacement relative to the frequency. And then if you go to the forces, we went up a couple of cases with the torsion again, 50% difference. So we showed like from this SAS analysis, comparison direct method and NSN that we are accurate. Now, this is comparison of interaction response, but it's really hard to see.
So it's actually no different. Push the frequency of the extreme water
So high, yeah.
so high outside of the
So basically, based on that thinking that steeper is the model, the soil, escalated soil, and less problems we have with the NSN approximation. Now, we looked at what properties there were in Fermi or Arcola to see how those properties compare with what we have in Montana. And we showed in different soils like you can see for Arcola, those properties are the red one. And we look after the rock, which is above the rock. So what we have is, in terms of shear velocity, those are like 50% of what we have for Montana.
So Montana is higher?
It's higher.
Quite a bit different.
It's different. And it's considerably different, actually.
Sure.
And also, the rock is also higher for Montana than it's for Fermi, right? The other thing is the models are pretty much the same. There's not much difference between the models, with the Arcola and the Unit 3 core. So I think based on this, and based on all the analysis we've done so far, we can say that we can use NSN method with all together, I think, how many planes? 2 internal plus 6 planes. So the analysis we did, what you saw with the fully-based model, they used 8 interaction planes of those. The triple SI analysis is the same we use.
So you're using the number of layers, additional layers, that you're using for the reactor building and control building. Those are the same as what was done in the Fermi analysis, or you're using more?
You mean more elements, or?
No, the number of interaction nodes or layers in addition to just the boundary model.
Fermi, one analysis Fermi did with only one.
Right.
And the rest of them they have 2. So basically we use either same like Fermi or more.
Okay. And your profile is different?
Yeah, I mean you can see that.
Okay.
Given this talking the embedded part about
No, right.
those other ones.
Yeah, but the theory is not really embedded. So I think this is the last slide I have.
That's another part on the studies. This is, and then what we have left to talk about that we haven't gone over the 3 draft REI, Chapter 19, and 9 equipment qualification REI. Like you mentioned that you might want to ask something about OB.
Yes.
And then we have, the discussion about our overall seismic approach and the milestones. And if we wanted to, we would go over the seismic departure and exemption request. So how would you all...
I have to leave around 3:30. 3:30, so
Yeah, I have another meeting.
finish your stuff first?
Yes,
Yeah, you shouldn't be here more than 3:30, but yeah.
Seems like that's about right. Does anybody need a break right now? We could do that and just go through the rest of the meeting and we'll close out.
Yeah.
Let's do a